Hello, and welcome to the June 2016 edition of the Catherine Swatridge Hypnotherapy podcast. In the podcast, I interview some very inspirational people, from well-known authors to gold medal-winning Commonwealth athletes, right through to international money mentors and to top public speaking coaches. I aim to dig down and find out the personal development and mindset strategies which enable these people to achieve the things that they do, so that we can all learn and adopt some of these same strategies into our own lives. Inspirational is what we aim for in this podcast, and today we've certainly got that. I'm joined today by Rebecca Green, one of the most incredible and inspirational women I've ever had the pleasure to meet. Rebecca is a highly successful businesswoman in not one but two industries. She's the top of her game and was recently awarded a business award in Las Vegas in front of a crowd of 18,000, which is pretty nerve-wracking. But rather than be intimidated, Rebecca danced across the stage to collect her award. Rebecca has a very enviable lifestyle. She's a successful businesswoman. She has work she's passionate about. She travels all over the world for business and pleasure and has a wonderful personal life. So she really proves that you can have it all. In this podcast, we'll find out how Rebecca has achieved this level of success, the strategy she uses to be able to travel so frequently, and also how she keeps a strong mindset in the face of adversity.
So welcome, Rebecca. It's lovely to have you here. Perhaps you can start by telling us just a little bit about the businesses that you run.
Yes, well, I run two businesses. The first is a business called The Green Room, which is my own skin clinic in Dorset, in Bournemouth. And the second is a health and wellness network marketing company called Arbonne. But I'll tell you my little journey and how I got there. So I started nursing 14 years ago in accident and emergency, and I then went on to work in paediatrics. And when I returned from Australia, I decided that I wanted to set up my own business. So I went to Harley Street and took some courses in Botox and dermal fillers and aesthetics, and I set up The Green Room. It was 7 years ago now. And alongside the business, I was introduced to the fabulous products of Arbonne, which are all vegan, gluten-free, so it's all sort of botanically based products. And it was a fabulous friend of mine called Dr. Xavier Gazazian, who is a bit of a celebrity in the Botox and the filler world. So I jumped in with 2 feet, and what very quickly started as my plan B is now becoming my plan A. So although I love my job at The Green Room, I love making people feel better and seeing a real change in their skin and their health, what I found was I had no time freedom, and I still don't have a lot of time freedom because I'm working so much. But setting up the second business, Arbonne, is going to allow me more time in the future.
Lovely. And it's lovely to hear someone who's so passionate about their work. What do you think is the best thing about having your own businesses?
The best thing about having your own businesses, time 2, is that you get to become your own boss. So I was never really any good at being told what to do when I was little. And so I love being my own boss now. And I love being able to build a team full of women and help them grow their lives as well. That's the most rewarding and giving thing that I take from my life, is being able to give that back to others in my team and watch and help them grow as a person. And really just to have your own time freedom is huge, really. And to be able to decide when I want to go on holiday and decide when I want to take a weekend off, or, as you know, go on holiday quite a lot. So that's the biggest thing that I can take from it, really.
Yeah, and Rebecca goes on a lot of really nice holidays. So how do you manage your time and travel? Because that's very enviable. So how do you manage to have such successful businesses and then be able to travel?
Well, because my Green Room business kind of runs itself now, so I decide when I work and my schedule. The Arbonne business goes with me all over the world. So because it's network marketing, which is basically social sharing, I'm taking that business wherever I go. So I'm always talking to people when I'm out and about naturally anyway. So a lot of the time I am away with Arbonne because it's with our conferences and things like that and training events that we go to. But even when I'm on holiday, I'm talking to people about the Arbonne products. I'm so passionate about them, and I love what they do for people's skin and their health. So for me, it's just, I'm probably always working, even when I'm taking time off when I'm on holiday, but I don't mind because I love both of my jobs.
So what daily routines do you have that enable you to do everything that you manage to do? Do you have any must-dos every day, or any particular way to maybe start or end your day, or just standard routines that help you to be the best you can be?
Well, most importantly, I start with something called the miracle morning. So it means that I have to get up a little bit earlier than I was before, but that's fine. It's only short term. So I now get up at 5 o'clock every morning, and from 5 till 6, I do what's called a power hour, and that's basically your affirmations, your gratitude list. I'm writing these out every single day. I'm reading my why power, which is a story about where my life will be in 5 years' time. So I'm reading that, and it's almost every time I read it, every morning I read it, it feels real. It feels like I'm living in that moment. I'm reading every single day the books that are helping me within my business. So not watching TV anymore, then we're listening to music and radio. And I'm a huge lover of music, so I've had to put that to one side. I listen to audio all the time on how to promote my business. So that's up my day. But the two most important things about staying on track in your business are what you're eating, your mindset, and exercise. That's 3, sorry, not 2. I had this one for you. So exercising, I exercise with 5 or 6 times a week and have 1 rest day. But my life is, I kind of live by the 80-20 rule with nutrition. I'll eat whatever I like at the weekend, and then throughout the week, I'll make sure I eat really clean, healthy food. And I eat a lot. So anyone that follows me on Facebook knows that I love my food, and I'm always eating. So it's not about starving yourself, because actually that completely debilitates you as a person by not eating regularly, and you won't perform correctly at work anyway. So I'm really big on nutrition at my clinic.
And maybe just give a little bit more information about that, some of those elements of the miracle morning. So what's the gratitude list, the affirmations, and was it the why story? Yeah, just a little bit more information for those that have maybe never heard of those things.
Sure. So the first time I heard about affirmations, I thought, well, this sounds a bit spooky and a bit weird, but it's amazing how they really start to build a belief in yourself as well, more importantly. So saying something over and over again every single day, so I'm fit, healthy and strong, is one of mine. Not fit as in fit, but as in fit as in, physically. And you say that every single day, and it's very powerful how words become beliefs within you, because your brain is like a computer, and you can retrain your brain, and anybody from any walk of life can do this. It's not just just myself who runs businesses. Any job that anyone's listening to on this, you can do this for yourself, and it's a very powerful thing to do. A gratitude list, I write 3 things every day that I'm grateful for, and that can be, just being healthy, or it could be someone that did something nice for you the day before, or just anything that you're grateful for in your life. My team is something that I'm always grateful for the hard work that they put in, and the staff that I have. And my why power is basically a very powerful story that I wrote, and it reads like a story, from how my house looks to how my life looks. I don't have children yet, but they're in this, and how my life will look in the future. So even down to the decor of my house and the studying, looking out onto fields in my beautiful country home. I've written everything of how I want it to look, and it feels like I'm in that house every morning that I do it. So very powerful way to sort of bring yourself up every day. And if you're having a really bad moment as well, if you're having a bad day, I always go back to that in the evening and read it again, just to give myself a little boost as well.
So when you returned from Australia and had that moment or that decision when you decided to set up your own businesses, what led you to that decision or that desire?
Well, I actually had a little dream. It sounds a bit spooky, doesn't it? I was led on a beach in Thailand, and I fell asleep, and I had a dream that I ran my own business called the Green Room. I returned back to the UK, still having this thought in my head, but not ever knowing what I was going to do. And a friend of mine had Botox, and I went with her. And the doctor said to me, "Oh, you can actually do this as a business, you can run it on the side of your..." And it was like a light bulb moment. I thought, you know what, this is what I'm going to do, but I'm going to bring in my nutrition. I want to make it more of a health clinic, not just about the Botox. Anybody that knows me, that comes to my clinic, knows that it's not about freezing the face. I'm about the nutrition and the health and wellness of that person as well. I thought, this is great. I can bring all my nutritional courses that I've done, all my nursing, the Botox, everything all under one roof. So that's what I kind of did, and I just went with it, and I quit my nursing job. Well, I got quite high up in nursing as well, and my friends were like, "You're crazy, you're going to leave this paid job to go to earning nothing." And I started off with what was just maybe 1 or 2 clients a week, and then it built and it grew and it grew, and now I'm fully booked every day. So that, I think sometimes when you have that gut feeling, and you just got to go with it, you just got to roll with it, because if you've got that feeling, especially as a woman, and it's normally right with gut feelings, isn't it? So I always live by my gut feelings. So I was like, right, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to roll with it, and it worked. It's been really successful. So I'm glad that I did it.
Good, and I think it's so important as well with any risk in life, with setting up your own business particularly, go for it, because you can always go back to what you were doing before. Generally, you don't burn your bridges. If you set up something and it doesn't work, you go back to what you were doing beforehand, and you're not any worse off. But if you don't try, you are worse off. So how did you overcome, the negativities, or maybe negativity is the wrong word, the cautions from other people? So people telling you you're silly to give up your good job. How do you overcome those kind of things?
So normally when people give me objections in either of my businesses, especially going back to when I first started the Green Room, it's normally coming from a place of their fears. So I've always been a bit like that. I always look at it from a different point of view, and I think, well, the reason they're giving me those negative feelings is because they would never be able to give up their job. And a lot of it was nurses that have been in their job for years and years and years, really disliked their job, but weren't brave enough to leave. And that's fine, that's them, but I just thought, I'm going to make a change. I'm looking at all these people who are so unhappy with their jobs. Nursing was great, and it gave me so many life skills, but it's not what I wanted to do forever. And I just, again, go back to that gut feeling. I knew it was right. And anyone that gives me an objection in life, I just think, sometimes you can listen to your friends' opinions, but if you know in your heart something is right, then you have to just go for it. I just went for it.
And now, what kind of objections or what kind of negativities do people give you these days that you have to overcome, whether that's resistance to your next step, or maybe jealousy even, or telling you what you can and can't do? What kind of things do you tend to come across now that you have to then find a strategy to overcome?
I have these all the time because my plan is to go part-time at the Green Room eventually, because my Arbonne business is growing so quickly and I need to give my time to my consultants to help them grow their businesses. And a lot of people, really close friends, have said, you're crazy, you've done all this training to be a nurse, you work as a trainer at Harley Street, you're just going to drop all that and run this business. What if it doesn't work? And it is working. I'm seeing signs of it working. And so, again, people that give me those objections are ones that don't want to jump in and do it themselves, and that's fine. But people give you objections all the time, especially about the Arbonne business, normally because they don't know what it is. So Arbonne is network marketing, and it's a very different way of being paid. So you're paid on your efforts within your business. It's not like a 9-to-5 job that you go to and you're only paid for that time. It's a very different, but it's a much more ethical way of being paid. And it's something where I'm finding my passion and my belief is so strong. So it's almost like I'm bouncing off objections anyway for it. It doesn't really affect me. And I've not always been like that. I've done a lot of personal development to grow myself to that point where people who do throw objections at me about anything to do with business, I just kind of have a bit of a jacket on, really. I just think nothing can touch me. And I think when you're running a business, you have to stay strong with your feet on the ground, and you have to just go for it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Having that kind of protective shield, as I call it, is so important. And it's funny that you're getting the same resistances at each step of your business as well. What's been one of the biggest obstacles you've had to overcome to get where you are?
The biggest obstacle I had to overcome was maths. Okay, so we were talking about this earlier. And when I was at school, I was always told that I was really stupid by a certain maths teacher when I was little in infant school. And that stuck with me. I believed that for a long time. And I used to think that I was always stupid and I couldn't ever get anywhere in life. When I came to do my nurse prescriber's degree a few years ago, I had to get 100% in that exam. And all I kept having was these thoughts of what this lady told me, that I was stupid and I couldn't do maths. And I did do really bad at maths at school. So what I did, I thought, right, make a good out of this situation. Instead of telling yourself that you're bad at maths, go and get some coaching. And that's exactly what I did. So I went and found this wonderful guy in Bournemouth called Barney, who he coaches children for GCSE maths. I just phoned him up and said, look, I know I'm an adult, I'm not a child. I really need your help. And he said, right, come for some lessons. And I went for some lessons, and he told me that, he goes, you're not crap at maths. He said, you just haven't had the right coaching, the right training, and you learn it in a different way. And I actually got 100% in my maths exam. So passed with flying colours. And that really taught me something, that if you're not good at something, you just need to practice. And it's like training a muscle, I guess. When you've got a weak arm muscle, you built it up your bicep with a weight, then you're going to gain muscle with it. And it's the same with anything else. If you're not very good at something, the repetition, the more you do something, the better you become at it. So that's kind of how I live my life, really. If I'm not good at something, I think, right, how can I get good at this?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so important that people realise that you don't have to be sort of victims to your past, that actually you can learn from your past, but it doesn't have to then repeat the whole way through your adult life, which I see a lot in my practice, but it really doesn't have to. If you weren't good at something or had a bad experience, that doesn't mean that has to then keep affecting you. So what negative beliefs about success or money or business, any of those sorts of things, do you have growing up maybe that you then had to overcome to be as successful as you are?
Well, I actually grew up, my father was around only until I was about 13, and then my mum brought all four of us up on her own. So we actually grew up on a council estate. So when I was younger, my dad always used to say that money doesn't grow on trees and that you have to work every hour God sends and you never have any time freedom. And this is something that was in me as a child, and I grew up believing that. And I thought I had to go to university, get the job, and work so many hours with my nursing. And then suddenly something clicked in me, and I thought there is a better way of living my life. And that's when I found Arbonne, really. And I'm so grateful I was introduced to that business, because it's shown me a completely different way that I'm going to live my life. So the moment that it clicked for me that I didn't have to work every hour God sends and money doesn't grow on trees, that I was saying, the kind of realisation I had was when I was working in A&E, and I just thought there has to be a better way of life. And I was working with just a couple of nurses on my night shift, and we were so pushed all the time. I was getting ill all the time, and I just thought there's got to be a better way of life. And I knew in my heart nursing wasn't my end goal. I was going to always do something else. And the personal development that I've done have come to see that actually, it sounds a bit cheesy, but my purpose in life, I really feel, is to go out there and teach other people and help them to have a better life. And people can have that. They don't have to go to work and slave away every single day earning the minimum wage. And there is a better way of living their lives, and I'm so grateful to be able to offer that to other people.
Excellent. And there's such a good book out there, which is one of my personal favourites, called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. So good. It's such a good book, just challenging all those beliefs that you have to be working 9 to 5, or that you have to be busy, or all these sorts of things. Actually, you can live a really good life and hardly, and really cut down on your sort of dull work hours. And so how do you keep motivated when things get hard, or things don't go the way you planned? How do you keep motivated?
So when anything crops up, and it does every single day in life, things are thrown at you. But if I'm exercising every day and I'm eating well and I've done my miracle morning, my day works so much more smoothly. So I'm able to overcome objections and handle anything that life throws at me, really. And it's not that I shrug things off. I kind of always try to see the lighter side of life. Like, I think that comes from working in A&E. You've always had to have a really funny sense of humour about everything, just to make light of the day. And that stuck with me forever. Not that I laugh at everything that happens in my life, but it just makes you kind of think, well, is that really that bad in the grand scheme of things? And okay, so I've got something going wrong here. How can I make this better? Rather than getting upset and down and depressed and wearing the victim jacket all day and just feeling sorry for myself, going, okay, so how can I make this better in my day? And that comes from training yourself. That comes from retraining your brain in a way to think. And it doesn't come naturally. It takes a while, but you can coach yourself in how to do this. You really can.
Yeah, absolutely. And worry is such a waste of our time and energy, because quite often when we're worrying about things in the future, whether we imagine the best case scenario or the worst case scenario, quite often doesn't affect the outcome. Or in fact, we're more likely to have the worst case if we imagine the worst case, because you're subconsciously moving that way. Either way, you'll deal with it at the time. So worrying is such a waste of our time. So talking of worry and anxiety, actually, so you recently did a talk in front of, and you quite regularly do, in front of hundreds of people, which is terrifying to a lot of people. So how do you overcome a fear of public speaking?
So whenever I have those little nervous butterflies, which we all get before we go and do a big talk like that, I'm sure you have, I flip it into excitement. So I constantly tell myself the feelings in my body are excitement, and I just breathe. There's so much importance in breathing, like really slow, long, deep breaths. Like even if you're having a really stressful moment, just 5 deep breaths in and out. I teach this to my clients all the time about just lowering your stress levels. But before going on stage to all those people, I just thought, they don't know what I'm going to say. So even if I mess up a little bit, which I did, I messed up twice, but they didn't realise, it doesn't matter. And I thought every time you've done something in your life that you've been nervous about, afterwards you've been so full of adrenaline and so excited that I just kept like literally putting myself into the future, going, right, you're going to feel excited, you're going to feel so amazing afterwards. I just kept telling myself that while I was sat there waiting to go on stage. And the soon as I got up there, I was a little bit nervous to start. As soon as I started reading off my notes, I just thought, actually, this is really enjoyable. I really got into it. And I actually had a video, my arms were flying around all over the place and laughing. So yeah, it's just flipping it into another feeling in your body. It's like going back to what I said before. Your brain's like a computer, so whatever you tell it. So if I sat there going, God, I feel nervous, or I feel really sick. So if you keep saying that over and over and over again, then you're going to start to believe it, and it will make it even worse. I probably would have really fluffed up my speech, but by flipping it into excitement, it was more enjoyable, and I enjoyed it so much more than I ever have done a talk before. Actually, because I did it all day, was telling myself that. So yeah, it really worked.
So you've been on quite a journey. In what ways have you changed throughout that journey?
I think my biggest change has been personal development. And for me, the biggest shift I've seen in myself is not reacting so much to situations. I used to get really het up about, even in my car, if someone was going slow in front of me, I'm like, oh my God, come on. Like, I'm trying to get to a meeting. Now I kind of see it like, well, there's obviously a reason for everything. I always think that now. And there's a reason why that person is going slow in front of me. There's maybe a crash up ahead to save my life. I always think of like, think of the positives of everything. And obviously you can't be like that all the time, every part of your life, but as much as you can. And when you're aware of how you're behaving to certain situations, you can really switch it on its head if you're up against any negativity. And it's just learning to be calm and see things more from other people's point of view, which maybe I didn't when I was younger. So if I was to talk to my 18-year-old self, like you said, then it would be to get into personal development, especially affirmations and meditation. It's so key for your mindset. And I had a really good friend that actually ended up in a mental home. And one thing she said to me was, you spend so much time looking after your skin and your health and exercising, but the most important thing is looking after your mind. And actually that's one thing that stuck with me, which was about 6 years ago. And since then, I've got into so much more personal development, and there's nothing more healthy than having a healthy mind. So, and it just makes your business and your life run so much smoother when you're in a really good state of mind as well. So that would be one thing I've taken from my old self.
Yeah, but as Rebecca said there, she mentioned meditation. The meditation is so good for just lowering anxiety, lowering that general stress level in your life and helping you to be more productive. So if you are interested in meditation, there's some really good apps. One's called Headspace. It's just 10 minutes every day. So it's so easy to fit in. If you get somewhere early, do it in your car. Headspace is a really good one, but I'll put the link to Headspace below. So Rebecca, what's next for you? What's your next goal in life?
Well, my next big goal is to have an even bigger team than I've got at the moment, but to go international. So Arbonne is opening up in lots of different countries all over the world, and it's my absolute mission and goal to help teams of women out there to have a better life. And it sounds really cheesy me saying it, but I love nothing more than to help other people in business and to watch them grow. And to have teams all over the world, that's kind of on my vision board. I've got to mention that I do have a vision board at home. So all the different countries that we're launching are on my vision board. To grow my green room business as much as I can, but to grow the Arbonne business to its highest potential, which is to get to National Vice President, which is the highest level within the business. And I will do that within the next couple of years, definitely.
So with all the personal development work you've done, have there been particular favourite books or particular favourite speakers that you'd recommend?
Gosh, there's so many I could list. So many books that I've read. One book that I love, if you're having a really tough time and you haven't got into self-development before, it's a book called A Little Light on Spiritual Law by Diana Cooper. And it really helps you understand other people, especially if you're working in an office environment, or even if you're self-employed and you're in contact with people. It really helps you understand other people so much better. But Go Pro by Eric Worre is another favourite book of mine about how to run your business. Gosh, there's so many I could list them. The One Thing is another great one. Eat That Frog is a fantastic book. The 4-Year Career is another good one. And the book that you mentioned today, The 4-Hour Work Week, I just started reading that this week. So yeah, that's another book that I reckon I could go on. But have a look at my Facebook. I've got them pictured all over my Facebook if you want to follow me.
So what piece of advice would you give maybe someone just starting out, or who just had that drive to set up their own business but didn't really know what was next?
The advice that I would give is, firstly, never quit. get into self-development, read books and retrain your mind as well. That's the biggest thing. But if you're starting up a business, you don't have to have come from, this amazing background of, maybe going to private school and things like that. I come from a council estate background, and I've got to where I am today through hard work and determination, and that's what it's all about. It's about having a personal belief as well that you can do it. And sometimes people don't start with that initial belief. You have to build it yourself, and you can coach yourself to be able to do that. But it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, whether you're the background from myself or any background. Anybody can run a business if they just put the hard work and the determination into it.
So how can people find out a bit more either about you, Arbonne, the Green Room? How do people get in touch with you?
So people can get in touch by having a look at my website, which is www.thegreenroomuk.co.uk. And there are links from there to my Arbonne website as well, or you can email me, which is info@thegreenroomuk.co.uk. So same for the website and the email address. I also have a Facebook page, I have a business page and a personal page, which is just Rebecca Green, The Green Room. And I also have a separate Arbonne page on there as well, so you can follow me or get in touch that way.
Great, and I'll put all those links below as well. Thank you so much for coming in today. It's been a really, really good podcast, really helpful for all the listeners. And it's been a pleasure to see you again. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.